us a world hidden in the shadows. A world where you don't know if you can trust your eyes. Two men search to expose the truth. Welcome to the Last Known Sighting Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Last Known Sighting Podcast. My name is Nathan, and
And
I'm joined here by Kaylen,
I'm
my
Kaylen.
host. And today we're talking about a topic that I don't really see a whole lot of. Like, do you see a whole lot on this topic, Kaylen, at all?
You're the first person that brought it to my attention. I had no clue up until this point.
There you go. So I actually was first introduced to this when I was in my early 20s. I was working at a factory, and a guy I worked with told me about them. And I did a little bit of research on them when I was younger and stuff like that. I always thought they were super interesting. But yeah, I don't see a whole lot on this topic. So today, we're going to go into the Georgian Guidestones, which I think they're super interesting. There's a whole lot of mystery behind them. So I think this one would be good to kind of get the history of them and then like see what kind of people think like the conspiracies behind it, and we'll even give our own opinions on them.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
All right, you ready? So we're gonna start with the history of the Guidestones. So in June 1979, a man using the synonym of Robert C. Christian approached the Albertan Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans. So they say loyal Americans, but we don't know because they don't tell us who they are. And commissioned the structure. Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, calendar, and clock. Now, I find that really interesting because, as we know, a lot of ancient civilizations and even more modern civilizations would create structures to be to line up with the stars and act as a clock and calendar and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. Like lining up with constellations to get an idea of dating. That's one way that modern scientists can date these structures, is lining them up with where constellations should be in relation to where they are today. And the way that the Earth has a wobble to it, and they can kind of rewind the clock and determine when this site could have been built based on the alignment of the stars. So yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was super interesting as to why they wanted it to be like that. So I don't know, maybe you have some theories that we can talk about afterwards, right? But we'll just get back into it. I just thought that was super interesting and should be capable of withstanding a catastrophic event. So this kind of goes into that kind of goes into a lot of the conspiracies behind these structures, right? So the man reportedly used the pseudonym as a reference to the Christian religion. Christian said that he wanted to build a granite monument that would reveal the British Neolithic monument Stonehenge, which he drew inspiration from after paying it a visit. Sorry. However, he said that while it was impressive, Stonehenge had no message to communicate. So I think that's interesting that he got his inspiration from Stonehenge, which I think will be a cool episode to go into too, because I think there's a whole lot of stuff around Stonehenge. It's very interesting,
Yeah, for sure.
right? So Joe Fenley of Albertan Granite believed that Christian was a nut and attempted to discourage him by providing a price quote that was so crazy that he would not want to do it. And several times he would jack up the price to try to discourage him from the project. But he still wanted to do it, and he explained that the construction of the Guidestones would require additional tools and consultants. To Fenley's surprise, Christian accepted the quote, which is crazy. I'm actually kind of interested to see how much it was. So when arranging payment, Christian claimed that the represented a group which would be planning to construct the Guidestones for 20 years and wanted to remain anonymous. Christian said he had chosen Albert County because of its abundance of local granite and rural natural of its landscape, its mild climate, and family ties to the region. The total cost of the project was not revealed, but it was over 100,000, equivalent to $400,000 in 2024. That's
So,
crazy. That's
yeah.
a lot of money.
And the fact that he just was totally fine. It's like money wasn't an issue for him. He had a lot of financial backing.
Yeah.
Do you think it was his own money, or do you think this is a group that was funding this whole project? Because you said that he was representing Americans.
Yeah, so he said he was representing a what was it? He was representing patriotic Americans, a group of patriotic Americans. So, and I'll get into more of my theory of about this afterwards, but I definitely do think he was backed by some very wealthy people,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So Christian delivered a scale model of the Guidestones and 10 pages of specifications. The 5-acre, 2-hectare site was purchased by Christian from a local farmer owner. The owner and his children were given lifetime cattle grazing rights to the Guidestone site. The monument was located off Georgia State Route 77, around 7 miles or 11 kilometers for us Canadians and other people who use kilometers. Uh, North of the city of Alberton. So on March 22nd, 1980, the monument was unveiled by Congress Doug Barnard before an audience of between 200 and 300 people. At the unveiling, the master of ceremonies read a message to the gathered audience. And this is from Mr. Christensen. In order to avoid debate, we, the sponsors of the Georgia Guidestones, have a simple message for human beings. Now and for the future, we believe our precepts are sound and they must stand on their own merits. And that's from Christian and the people who built these Guidestones. So I thought that was interesting that was delivered with the unveiling of the Guidestones,
Yeah. Kind of creepy
right?
though, like that this there's so much effort put into this and the financial backing to share a message that is unsettling to some people, which we'll get into what the message is.
Yeah, yeah, it's very creepy. And it's funny too because like you read some of the messages and you're like, oh, that sounds pretty reasonable. That sounds like a good idea. And then you get into some of the other ones, you're like, I don't know about that one, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, right?
Mhm.
And like we said, we'll get into the message of what the Guidestones actually reads, and we'll give our opinions on what we think about them, right? But Christian later transferred ownership of the land and the Guidestones to Albert County in 1981. Barbed wire fence was erected around the monument to keep cattle out. At, as they had been using it for a scratching post. So the cows were just like, we're just going to scratch our ass here.
Yeah.
Right? I think that'd be pretty funny to see.
Cows
Right?
don't care how much money you spend.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't. They just see, I'm going to scratch my ass on that. But a man who identified himself as Robert Christensen published a book titled Common Sense Renewed, which described the ideology of the Guidestones, the author wrote. So I think this is kind of interesting because it kind of gives you an idea of what if this is the same person, kind of like what his idea for the Guidestones were and like what he kind of believes in.
Yeah.
So I am the originator of the Georgia Guidestones and the sole author of its inscriptions, which I find interesting there. That part, sole author of its inscriptions. Um, I have had assistance of a number of other American citizens in bringing the monument into being. We have no mysterious purpose or ulterior motives. We seek common sense pathways to a peaceful world without bias and practical creeds and philosophies. And that is from Robert Christensen. So, and then Fenley believed that the monument would become a regional tourist attraction in 2002 or 2022, sorry. 20,000 annual visitors were reported. Dark clouds, however, Dark Clouds Over Alberta and the True Story of the Georgia Guidestones was released in 2015. It is a documentary filmed and to expose the true identity of Robert Christensen. The makers of the documentary claimed to have investigated and interviewed a banker who was involved in a financial agreement for the construction of the monument. Which I didn't watch the documentary. I might check it out another time, but I think it'd be an interesting watch. And then in 2008, the Stones were defaced with aerosol paint and graffiti with slogans such as "Death to the New World Order." Wired magazine called defacement the first serious act of vandalism in the Guidestones history. In September 2014, an employee of the Albert County Maintenance Department contacted the Federal Bureau of Investigation when the stones were vandalized with graffiti, including the phrase, "I am Isis, goddess of love." After the act of vandalism, security cameras were installed on the site. Candace Taylor, candidate of the 2022 Georgia Republican Guard Natural primary, called the Guidestones satanic, which is interesting. In a campaign ad, her campaign platform called for the monument to be removed. So in July 6, 2022, an explosive device dis- was put onto the site and destroyed the Swahili and Hindi language slab and causing significant damage to the Guidestones. Nearby residents reportedly heard and felt the explosion at around 4 a.m. So they heard and felt the explosion. That sounds like it was a big bomb,
Yeah. We
right?
actually have the
Like,
video of it if you want to check it out.
yeah. If you don't mind playing that video,
Jeez.
it's
I
a big
wonder what they
explosion.
I wonder what was used to cause that kind of explosion.
Who knows? And then here's the vehicle that is suspected to be the person who blew up the Guidestones.
Now, what would cause you to be so upset with something like this that you'd want to completely destroy it? I mean, once we get into what the stones say, somebody obviously was pretty upset. Now, you said it was specific to one of the languages on the stone. I wonder if that has any ties to why somebody would want to vandalize it and target that language specifically.
I don't think it was like, oh, we want to target this one specific language or this one specific slab because there's a specific language on it. I just think they just thought, because it looks like the explosion takes place further away, like on a side where the cameras aren't facing. So I think that has more to do with it than like the actual languages
Yeah,
itself, right?
less exposure to the
Yeah,
cameras.
exactly. That's what I think, right? But so CCTV footage was recorded of a vehicle fleeing, which we seen, and police investigated the incident. The remaining stones were dismantled by authorities for safety reasons later in the day with a backhoe, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The Albertan Star reported that digging showed no evidence that there was ever a time capsule located beneath the Georgia Guidestones. Right. So then after the stones were destroyed, the Albertan County Sheriff's Office investigated the bombing with assistance from the GBI, which is the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, which I guess is like the FBI, but for Georgia. On the evening of the bombing, the GBI released a video showing both the explosions and the vehicle of interest leaving the scene shortly before, which is the footage we showed you all not too few minutes ago. No motive has been publicly shared, and no suspects have been publicly identified. On July 14th, 2022, and again on July 25th, 2022, the GBI gave an update with no significant progress in the case being made since the bombing. Prosecutor suggests that as the Guidestones were maintained by the county, they were considered a public building, thus their destruction would carry a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison. Right? And then later on in 2022, the mayor said that they want to build a new structure of the Guidestones, like rebuild them, right? And then right now, basically the same company that has who built the Guidestones has the original granite of the Guidestones. So, but as far as all the research I've seen, there has been no rebuilding of the Guidestones.
Yeah, I wonder how quickly they'd be vandalized again if they were to be rebuilt.
Yeah. Well, like there you got the graffiti of the New World Order and stuff like that, which I would say is a very touchy subject, especially nowadays,
Yeah.
right? But what's your opinion on all this, Kaylen? Like, what do you have any ideas of who maybe built these things and stuff?
My opinion on it is it's such an unusual task to take on and an expensive one. And it sounds like they wanted it to be strong enough to withstand like an apocalyptic situation, like nuclear war, some kind of fallout where humanity kind of has to start over. And that's
Yeah.
why some of the instructions on there is kind of like how to rebuild and how to start over humanity after this fallout or this war. We should probably get into those details. That way the listeners can understand what we're talking about. Um, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So let's get into the let's see, where's the list of.
I have them here if you want me to read them off.
Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind, go through. So let's go through the first rule on the guide stones, which I think is the one that people kind of maintain as a dark intentions.
Yeah, so the very first one is maintain humanity under 500 million in balance with nature.
Yeah. So I find that one very interesting. Before I give my opinions on it, what do you think?
Well, it's obviously a cap on how many people should be on the earth, and it says in balance with nature. So maybe that's their idea of the ideal population for the earth based on being in balance with nature. Maybe that's to do with resources. So everybody has their own share. Nobody's fighting over anything, and you're not interfering with nature. You're living in harmony with it. But it's weird that they picked 500 million. Like that's the limit of
Yeah.
people that should
Yeah, it's
be
like,
on the earth.
yeah, where did they get that number from? Is it just some sort of arbitrary number that they pulled out of their head? Or is it like, did they actually do some like actual research into this, right? So it's very interesting. And I don't know about you, but I get the idea that this organization, whoever they are, who designed these stones and paid for them to be built, kind of lean on the more environmentalist side,
Yeah,
right? Wouldn't you think so?
yeah, for sure. Especially when we get into the second instruction that they have, which is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So to guide reproduction is kind of odd to me that they use that phrasing because like are they trying to do like genetic manipulation? Are they trying to narrow it down to specific bloodlines? Like that's odd that
Yeah,
they chose that
it's
term.
weird. It's weird, right? Because also too, it's like, well, are they? It seems like to me that based on that, they want certain people to reproduce and not others,
Yeah, but also
right?
be diverse. Improving
Yeah,
fitness and diversity is what it says.
yeah. The fitness part, I totally agree with. I think everyone should be fit. I think everyone should be going to the gym and exercise and eating healthy. So
Well,
I
I
agree
mean,
with that part.
if you're
But the
starting
whole,
civilization over, yeah, you might want to be in pretty good shape.
yeah, yeah. But the whole guiding reproduction wisely. Like, what does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, or like you said, is it like choosing choosing certain bloodlines? Are you choosing who can reproduce, who can't? Right? And how are you choosing that?
Yeah.
How are you choosing who can reproduce, who can't? And so that gives off that whole, and again, that gives off that a lot of that gives off like that new world order vibes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So the first two is a little sketchy so far.
I would say so. So
And
you want
then
to go into the third one?
yeah, it says unite humanity with a living new language.
I think that one's kind of odd too.
Yeah. Well,
Right? Like,
the stones had 8 different languages on them of modern
yeah,
languages and 4 more ancient languages on top, but they're saying to have unite humanity with a living new language.
yeah, but it's like, how are you going to do that? Like, the coming up with a language is not an easy thing, right?
Yeah.
Like in order to come up with like English and Hindi and Japanese, like I imagine it took like thousands of years in order to come up with these languages and add meaning to the words so we can understand each other and communicate with each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So I
interesting
I
that
find
one.
that interesting, and it's like, how would you do that?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, for sure. And then
I
the
mean,
fourth.
I would just say just stick with English if anything, because that is the most widespread language in the world, right? More countries speak English than like Japanese or Chinese or like anything like that, right? So it's like, why not just stick with if you wanted to do that, just stick with one language like English or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something where it's like most people already know it.
Yeah, I guess they're really sticking to the fresh start narrative, with
Yeah.
having all these new rules just start with a brand new language.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the fourth rule is rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Now, why would somebody want to write that? Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
See, faith and tradition, I can get behind, right? Because I believe that a society with a common religion and faith and also common traditions are more likely to succeed than a country where there's thousands of religions and traditions and stuff like that. No one's no one's like coming together on those traditions, right? So that stuff I can get behind, but like the uh the rule of passion, that kind of sketches me out there,
Yeah,
right?
but they're focusing on unity, so not having too many differences in faith, traditions, or passions, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also too, rule passion. What like could that mean like try to hamper down people's passion on things? Like
Could be.
it's that's an interesting one, I think.
Yeah. And that's the fourth
Right?
one, so it obviously meant something to them to have it inscribed in these stones.
Yeah. Now you want to go to the fifth one?
Sure, it's protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts.
I think that one we could probably both get behind, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, having fair laws and just courts would help people be united and have a security, with the limit of 500 million people on the earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
I
then
think that's the first one that kind of makes sense. That would be worth noting.
yeah, that isn't like that doesn't have some sort of red flag to it,
Yeah,
right?
the first one. We're halfway through, and we finally found one that we can pretty well agree with.
Yeah, exactly.
So the sixth is let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So kind of still on the train of thought of laws and resolving issues in a world court. So you're not having local courts. You're not going to
Yeah,
have
so
your.
I guess that would be kind of like something like the the United Nations type thing, but more involved. Because let's face it, the United Nations are kind of useless right now. Like they don't do anything. No one ever listens to them. So right. So I think they think like maybe that would be something more dominant than like what the United Nations is. I
Yeah.
guess.
For some reason, I always think of like the Star Wars scene when they're all on like the floating pods and they're all discussing matters. Like that's the first thing
Oh,
that came to my
and
head.
the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The how yeah, like the Galactic Court or whatever.
Yeah, that's just for whatever reason, that's what I thought about.
No,
So,
no, for sure. That kind of makes sense to me.
and then along the same lines, number 7 is avoid petty laws and useless officials.
I mean, I could get behind that kind of that right there. Like, let's face it, we have a lot of government officials who just suck off the teat of the taxpayer and just ends up costing us more money than than they're worth, right? So
Yeah.
I could theoretically get behind that.
Yeah. So 3 in a row, all talking about disputes and laws and how to govern ourselves after we rebuild. And
Yeah.
then 8 is a little bit different, balance personal rights with social duties.
Now, what's your opinion on that one before I give mine on it?
To be honest, I didn't really know what to think about this one, so maybe you can give your opinion first.
All right. So my opinion is I actually kind of agree with this one. Balance personal rights. So you want to balance the rights of the individual, but also have a social duty. Because let's face it, our society can't function. A human society cannot function if we do not have people performing their duties, perform to doing the things that we need people to do as a society. Like for example, in a family, a nuclear family, the husband and father has the duty to provide for his family and protect his family. That is his duty. That is his responsibility, right? And I think duty, if we have a sense of duty, that gives humans a sense of meaning, right? So I would say I would agree with that, right? But what do you think after me giving my opinion?
Yeah, I think kind of just simplifying it, just having everybody having their own rights to things in the new world order, as they're implying,
Whatever that
and
means.
yeah, and then also having your own expectations in a social setting. In the community, you
Yeah,
have individual duties that, along with your personal rights, you have to contribute.
yeah, exactly. All right,
And
you want to
then,
go to the next one?
yeah, number 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. So again, I think just talking about unifying truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Just a fancy way of saying, be united.
Yeah, yeah, I would probably say that's probably what they meant by that as well. I don't really have a strong opinion on that one, to be honest. I kind of, like I said, I agree with like putting truth and beauty and love in the forefront, making those a what's it called, a forefront of our society, right? Especially now when like, especially too with you got government officials lie through their teeth to us, right?
Yeah.
So all right.
So number 10, the last one, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. And then it repeats, leave room for nature.
So that one again raises red flags for me. I would agree. Yes, we don't want to destroy our earth. We don't want to destroy our 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 planet. We don't want to destroy our resources. Like me and you, we're both avid hunters. We like to be out in the outdoors and be one with nature. And if all our forests are destroyed and stuff like that, that would take a lot away from us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I would agree with that, but also too, the the more we let humans innovate, let humans innovate, the better our lives will be, and the better the world will be. If we just let humans innovate and do what humans do, right? Like, yeah, there's going to be horrible people who just want to be selfish and just like take what they can, and they don't care what happens to other people or or like nature or the earth or whatever, but I also think there's a lot more good people than there are those people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So getting back to like the guide stones themselves, like I think there's arguments that they're positive. There's arguments that they're kind of dark and kind of creepy. And there's also arguments that it's just people who have a specific mindset toward how the world should operate given a global collapse. And maybe they're just trying to set a blueprint for people to follow. Like it's could go either way, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't really we have no idea who these people are who built these things. We just have the name of a guy, which, as far as we know, it like it's not his actual name. We have no idea what he looks like. We don't know anything about him, right? Other than he commissioned these guide stones to be built, right? So it's like how we have no idea. It's hard to get a read on what these guide stones mean, what they actually represent, if we don't know the mindset of the people behind them,
Yeah. And
right?
why
Like we don't know the ideologies of them at all, right? For the most part, I would say.
yeah, and why be so anonymous with this?
Yeah, why be so secretive,
Yeah.
right? Like, in my opinion, the people who want to be secretive are usually people who are not good people, right?
Could be that
If you're
or
hiding something, then in my experience at least, you're probably up to some nefarious deeds.
yeah, it could be. I was thinking too, like maybe it's because they don't want to put themselves on this pedestal. Like we came up with this. Maybe they would be the new leaders. Maybe this is a way to stay anonymous. That way people can come together instead of looking to one person or one group of people as the leader, given there's a world collapse and people have to start over.
Yeah, that could be it, right? Now, do you think this is like just like Mr. Christensen said, him and some patriotic Americans, or do you think it's some sort of organization behind it?
I feel like it might be more of an organization, somebody who has strong beliefs that something bad is going to happen and the world is going to end and humanity is going to have to start over from scratch, and they're just setting out guide stones, just like the title says, for humanity to move forward. And
Yeah,
they've given them the rules that they feel is best for these people that are having to start over.
yeah. I mean, I could see that for sure, but I could also see, based on some of these rules or guides or whatever you want to call them, set forth on these guide stones, it could be very nefarious as well, right? Like,
Yeah, like what if there's more than 500 million people that survive this apocalypse or whatever? Does
yeah,
that does
yeah.
that mean like there's depopulation and they
Yeah,
have to
are you gonna start murdering people? Like, well, what's your plan behind that,
yeah,
right? Like,
that could get very dark.
it very well could be, right? Like, we all know that there are definitely organizations in the shadows who are working to, I feel, make the world in what they think it should be. You know what I mean? And they feel like, oh, we know best, so we should do it this way,
Hmm.
right? You see that a lot with a lot of politicians nowadays, right? Instead of following what the science says or whatever, it's no, 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 no. We're gonna do it my way, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder, like, who are these people? And why did they build them? Did they actually have good intent behind them? Or are they nefarious? Right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's why we dive into this world in the shadows, right?
Exactly. So now getting to the part of the bomber. Do you have any ideas of who you think might have done it? Or do you think it was a single person? Do you think it was like multiple people? Do you think it was like some sort of like organization?
I think the initial vandalism and the explosion, I think it would be two different parties. Because
Oh,
if you're,
I feel like the vandalism is just people who are like, yeah, we're not down with this or whatever,
yeah, or it
right?
could
And
just be
then
kids in the neighborhood wanting to vandalize something. But I think the explosion, that had to have stemmed from a real hatred to whatever this monument represented. Could be
yeah.
they were against the messages that it had, could be against the group that the anonymous group, maybe they knew who was behind it and they wanted to make a statement of their own by blowing it up. So I don't know. It could be one person, it could be a competing group.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I would say, and I think you would be right there with me, that there are groups competing with each other, right?
Yeah. But I think it's just one person that really was against either what the message was on the monuments, or like I said, they knew who was behind designing it and they wanted to send a message back to them. That's what I think.
They would have to know have some good knowledge on explosives, I would say.
Yeah, that was a big
Right?
explosion.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would have to have some decent knowledge on how explosives work in order to create an explosive that big. Because you would have to create a big explosive to create to destroy one of those slabs of granite. Because I think it was like what the one slab of granite was what 6 feet thick or something like that. It's like something crazy,
Yeah,
right?
19 feet tall
Yeah,
and do enough
like
damage that it would be deemed like unsafe. And so the
yeah,
community had to take
exactly.
it down.
Where the government would have to take it down,
Yeah.
right? So like I would definitely I would definitely say it was an individual who has some sort of knowledge or training with explosives, right? Because you would also too, because I think it said that the it showed the video footage was of the car was the car driving away before the explosive went off. Correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
The video showed the explosion first, but I
No,
didn't.
I know, but I think in the description or whatever they said that in the report it said that the vehicle drove away before the explosive. Anyways, you would have to be nowhere near that explosion when it went off. So I would imagine probably have to have some sort of remote device
Yeah,
in
or
order to trigger it,
yeah,
correct?
or just a
Right?
a timed fuse.
Yeah. So like maybe it was even someone who's like former military or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the CIA.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we
But
can I don't know, it's been a long time and there's been no further information about it, so I don't know if we'll ever know the truth about it.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's been no there n- n- hasn't been I haven't seen from all my research, I haven't seen anything about if the person's ever been caught, if if they've had any suspects. Like I haven't seen anything about that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? So it's yeah, it's like who if are we ever gonna find out who blew it up, right? And then I doubt we're ever going to find out who like actually built them. I doubt we're going to find out who Mr. Christensen is, right?
Yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe he's probably dead by now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was built in 1980, so I'm not
It'd
sure.
be it. It'd be interesting if someone could get to talk to the owner of the granite company and see if he's still alive. See maybe if you could give a description of what the guy looked like, right?
Yeah.
Because like we don't even know what the guy looks like.
Hmm. Yeah, still lots of mysteries behind it.
Yep, I'd say so. So, but I thought it was a really interesting story, right? I haven't seen a lot of people do videos on this subject, so I thought it would have been a good one to get into and kind of explore, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And we're going to keep exploring.
yeah, we're gonna keep diving into the world of the shadows, the world hidden in the shadows, and try to find the truth,
That's right.
right? But I think that's uh I think that's the end of this story. I hope if anyone is watching this video, I hope you guys enjoyed our coverage of this story, and like and follow if you enjoy it, and we hope to see you on the next episode of the Last Known Sighting podcast. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us on our adventure in uncovering the mysteries of the world hidden in the shadows. We hope to see you on the next episode to uncover the truth on the Last Known Sighting podcast.